Yo, Ant, thanks again for bringing these Primo's hoagies, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man, I'm starving over here.
I know these things are really going to hit the spot.
I knew you weren't going to come empty-handed.
You know how we roll.
Hell yeah.
Come on, man.
What we got,
That's
Italian?
That's how we do. I got a cuz, I got an Italian.
Let's go.
I got a Schwartz. There's a million of them.
Look, I got to be honest.
Yo, I'm starving. Just give me my damn hoagie.
I feel bad, our boys Fink's hoagies, but we can't pass up these free hoagies.
Oh, he's
you know
late,
what I'm saying?
dude.
By the way,
No, thankfully, he's running a little bit late.
yeah, where is the Fink?
Yeah.
Come on, Fink.
Well,
what's he doing?
Luckily, he's running a bit late, so we're just going to destroy these hoagies, get right into it, and we should be good to go.
Let's not say nothing then.
Yeah, don't say
let's
nothing.
not say
I don't want to listen. I love the Fink.
Oh,
Yo.
Traffic wasn't that bad, guys. I made it.
yeah, what's going on, bud?
Oh, shit.
Did you?
I brought hoagies for us. What are you guys doing?
Oh,
Fink.
We didn't know you were going to be here
my
this
brother.
early.
Listen, Fink, I love you. I'm sorry. But you know me, I'm a Primo man. I love you. Brother, I would never.
You got to forgive the cuz, man.
Yeah, man, come on.
You know what I mean? Come on, Hoagie Brothers.
hug it out.
Hug it out, dude. Hug it out.
That's the spirit.
There we go.
Good job, fellas.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the City Pigeons Podcast, and we are graced with the presence of one of the biggest legends in Philly sports media of all time, our boy Anthony the Cuz Gargano.
What up,
How you
man?
doing, bud?
What up, cuz?
What's up, my boy?
Damn.
What a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I love it.
Just to be clear, I'm still going to take a bite of this Primo.
Get right in there.
Cheating old thing.
Fink is right there. Fink, don't take it personal. Look, we love Finks too. There's room in the world for multiple hoagie establishments. Do you think so or no? No, absolutely not. He's towing the company line. Well, Ant, we're so happy to have you here with us, especially in our space here, the Coop. What do you think of the setup? You feeling good about this?
Let me
You're
tell you,
the
Jeff,
first visitor to the Coop.
That's true. The first guest
this
in the
is
Coop.
unbelievable. This is dynamite, man. I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Baby, listen, we're so fired up to have you here, and you got to promise us you're going to come back and watch some football in a couple weeks.
I'm in. Are you kidding me? I'm in. All
We'll save a
right?
spot for you right on that couch,
I
man.
love
Whatever
it.
one
Cut
you want.
spot. I want my little spot.
Hoagies, you gonna bring the hoagies.
That's on you, baby. I don't want to offend. You know what I mean?
Beautiful. And we got our buddies Mark Goodheart and Tom Henneman over here at what is the new Goodheart firm bar in the Coop.
That's an official bar.
Actual,
Let's go behind the
real
bar.
bar.
Yeah.
This time.
By the way, Anthony, Mark has a Hawaiian shirt for every team, a branded Hawaiian shirt. Do you believe that? He's got an intense collection.
Now, that's impressive, brother. That's impressive.
I'm looking for a Sixers, though. I need
Okay.
a Sixers. If anyone sees a Sixers, grab me a medium. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we don't care about the Sixers right now.
So, Ant,
Everyone's looking for the Sixers. They're all gone.
We're fining you $100,000 for even talking about the Sixers right now.
So,
You
Ant,
know Hassa.
Yeah.
So, Ant, you making it here is unbelievable. I need you to tell people about your day because I think it's a bit of a testament to the legend that you are. Because I heard what you were getting into today, and I said, "Geez, I don't know if this guy's going to even show up." And lo and behold, here you are.
Well, first of all, I would never disappoint you. You and I go back such a long time. You and Tommy, and the Fink is my boy. Despite our hoagie thing, we're felt. I would never disappoint you guys. So we just had. I helped out because the afternoon show at the Fanatic was off. So my producer, the Tunis, was doing the show.
Shout out Tunis.
That's right. So I was like, I gotta help out. So I stayed around, and then my Anthony had a scrimmage tonight, and we live in Jersey, so he was playing Delsey. So I had to grab him, go run to the scrimmage, and then he played, and he played well. So I was happy. I was happy. Yeah, I was
It does
happy.
put an extra skip in your step when the kid plays well in the
Yeah.
game. You know what I mean? I've been down that road.
You
It's a
know
good-
the deal.
it's a
Yeah,
good
I was
thing.
listening earlier when you were talking about the kids playing ball, and we heard about the clip of them giving them the Lamar Jackson at the goal line. We'll have Aleco
Yeah,
edit
we
that
just
in.
saw the actual
Yeah, we just
clip.
saw the actual clip.
It's just as impressive.
It was
as,
dirty.
Yeah.
Can we get that? Do we have permission to edit the clip
Yes.
into the episode?
Yes.
All right.
Please.
Yeah,
We
we'll
will
If-
get that
if you
into
pay
this.
his NIL
That was
fee.
my Massimo. And
I thought that was Lamar Jackson, dude. That was Lamar Jr., dude.
Beautiful.
I was like, damn, he's gangster. Look,
Were you a baller?
yeah, I'm not good. I mean, not like they're going to be way better than me. So,
All right.
That's the hope that we all have. That
yes,
our
our
Yeah,
kids
I-
are
better than us.
Like I got 5 boys, right?
5 boys.
I got my
He's got a whole basketball team.
my
impressive.
oldest is graduated college already. My second oldest is starting high school tomorrow. He's going to Ghost, and he's a big time basketball player. He'll
get out.
He'll
Fink's
probably
really?
be on a JV in his freshman year. He's a big time b-ball player. I love watching.
So you know it, like and Rock, like
kids.
I didn't think so because the idea of watching your kid,
it's great.
I fell in love with it. Rock,
Yeah.
like,
It's amazing.
Like I coach at baseball. Like my little one plays travel baseball. They both play basketball. So like I coach their basketball. I love it. Like,
I'm
there's
sure you
nothing-
do, man. I can't 2 weeks ago, I went and did some volunteer work for a company called Hoop Dreams. It's a nonprofit company. They do a lot of neighborhood stuff, and it's based on basketball. And I was just out there with the kids all day on a Sunday, and I absolutely loved it. I was like, if my own kid was out here, I'd be out here every day just loving
Right.
it, taking it all in, pretty much living through my kid. It's
Yeah.
just like what you guys
know
are
what it
doing.
is? Because for all of us, right? Like sports is what we do, what we did. It's kind of our identity in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I never really thought of this because I was like, if I have kids, I have kids. And I never really thought about it. And then I got blessed with two boys who are my heart and soul. And then I realized that the trick, the gift is we get to do it all over again.
Right, yeah.
Right? So I got my Madden.
Yep.
Right? Like I got, always I go out with my
You got
Massimo
the
all
kids
the time.
lined up before practice saying, hey, listen, this is what you're going to see. You got to get them geared up
Oh,
beforehand.
dude! So I'm in a car tonight, and I'm going to my aunt, and they go, "Dad, you're a lion. You're a tiger. You're you're a lion." The old people love it. The young people love it. I was Duke from Rocky talking to Apollo.
That's beautiful.
great.
I actually had a moment recently where I was playing my son in MLB The Show, which he wakes up every morning at 6:30 and gets an hour and a half in before anyone else is up. So I was playing him, and I had the throw the controller moment. I was playing against him, and I got all pissed off because I didn't know the buttons. Like, this is bullshit. Threw the controller. This is a bad example I'm setting for my son. Nah, but it's the best. But the hard part is it adds in so much in your schedule. And for a guy like you, all the stuff you're doing, it's hard to manage. So there's an element there that makes it real difficult. So he's a little footloose and fancy.
Not only that, and how bad are the nerves when you want them to do so well?
Oh my
and
God, dude!
And then they disappoint you. It's like, well, it's not their fault, but you're as a parent, it kills you. Like you just want them to perform well every time they have the ball in their hands. Or
How about in baseball, right? Because baseball's a game of
yeah,
failure.
you fail
Right?
anyway.
That's what baseball is, right?
Yeah.
So, how many times he's pitching,
yeah.
and I'm dying with every pitch.
And she's like, hey, dude, guys get hits off of Nolan Ryan. Like, guys get hits off everybody,
Exactly. That stride. I'm
Yeah.
screaming like an idiot, like I'm Marinovich, I'm Garganovich. Hey, what do you do? That no stride, man. Follow through.
Yeah.
Snap it. And really it's for them because you want them to succeed more than, it's not about us, it's about them. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it's the greatest part.
I'm gonna interject real quick, and I'm a little off topic here, but this reminds me. You guys are talking about the baseball, and you said disappointed when your kids are not performing up to par, right? So the Little League World Series just happened, right? The kids from media, our local squad or whatever, they go out there.
Great job, media.
Are we celebrating?
Great job.
Absolutely, you celebrate that. You know how hard it is to make it to Williamsport?
He has no idea.
And what kind of dream that is for a little kid?
I have no clue, right? But
But what's your point, right?
but my point is,
I'm gonna about to shit on these kids.
yo, good job to the kids. Good job to the kids. Like they did a great job. I'm sure they enjoyed their time, but I'm sure they felt that disappointment.
This is going to
And
bad route.
I've been feeling a lot of runner-up, second place celebrations going on in Philadelphia in the past year or so. And
point.
I think
you can't
got a
do
point.
that to the
What do you,
kid.
I mean, the kids are throw them in there with the rest of them. Throw them in there with the Sixers, with the Eagles, with the Phillies.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Okay, I'm just saying. No, real quick. I'm sick of just celebrating second place runner-up. Not in Philadelphia in general, but just celebrating in general.
So that's a great topic, right? It really, it's a great topic. So here's my counter. Now, it goes without saying you want a parade, right? Like we obviously want a parade, right? Like we all want that. That Phillies run
last year
was, an epic. Listen, it sucked. They lost to the Astros, the whole thing. But I saw the city come together And in fact, I was talking to someone at the police department, and they were saying that during the Phillies run, and it followed suit with the Eagles, that violent crime went down to almost nothing.
Really?
During the Phillies run. And I mean, obviously, you want to win.
And you don't want to celebrate second
like
place.
the fact that the town comes together, like this town, it's why I love it, right? And I know you guys do, right?
Unique from any other city in America.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
serious.
I feel you.
Like our town is a incredible city. I lived in Chicago. I lived in New York. I traveled extensively. There's nothing like Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
So we you know why? Because in other cities, fandom is a passive endeavor, right? It's like you sit, you watch, you cheer, whatever. With us, like we're in it.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a
We're
Trey
part of the team,
Turner all weekend long.
You wake up in the morning and you're either mad about the night before
Yeah.
or you're happy about it, looking
Yeah.
forward to the next game.
Yeah.
Our whole attitude changes because of how sports teams perform.
Yeah.
Unlike
It
any
matters.
other city.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
You're right on, man. It doesn't matter like that anywhere else. Listen, New York's great, Boston's great, Chicago, they all love sports. I get it. Cleveland, Detroit. But here it's just in the soil, man. Like
Right.
this is what we do.
I completely agree. I love the runs. They're great when we're going on those runs, when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, when the Phillies were in the World Series. When they lose, we're still celebrating second place. Like, I don't remember. I don't remember, like, back in the day. Like, did they give out national championship rings and NFC championship rings? Was that always a
Are
thing?
you
Yeah.
still talking about the
Who else
Delco
is-
kids?
No, I'm talking about the Eagles losing in the Super Bowl and the Phillies losing in the World Series.
Okay, but who celebrated that?
They got rings, dude.
Everyone gets. It's,
See,
it's not
I
just.
I had the same.
Every team.
I
gets
had the
it.
same thinking immediately after like the World Series loss. I was like, it was all for nothing. Like it was pointless.
Yeah.
We went that far and we had it and we didn't win, so it was pointless. But it wasn't. Like the run to the World Series is so fun.
Yeah,
And
like when we were-
it brings the city together.
Meech
You-
was out for the World Series game. We
Yeah,
had
and by the
one
way,
of best times
guys,
ever.
one of the best times I've ever had in my life.
Without that, number one, like my son Dean wouldn't have learned all that colorful language from the hangout before the game. And then Meech had an adopted child, that he put on his shoulders during the World Series. The vibes were at an all-time high.
And even the Super Bowl, like I was at a nice Super Bowl party. They were up 10 at halftime. Like that was, I was having a great time.
Well,
and I wouldn't trade all that shit for anything, even though the ending wasn't.
You
how
wouldn't
we-
trade it
So
for a
here's where
championship?
I'll agree, right? Rock, if I tell you this, you shouldn't go to Broad Street after losing the
Right,
Super
right,
Bowl.
yeah,
that's-
right?
I mean,
that's a violation.
Yeah, that's a violation.
Right? You
Right.
can't go to Broad Street.
No, I agree.
and
There's-
celebrate
there's nothing to
because
celebrate.
you're pissed off.
That's
right?
all
Like-
young kids who don't know any better.
Right,
They
yeah,
just
yeah,
want
yeah.
to party.
Exactly.
I don't
They
think you
got
should get a
robbed.
ring. Like Jalen Hurts and Bryce Harper, they ain't wearing them league championship rings when
No,
they go out in the
nobody
future.
gives a shit about them.
Let's just get rid of all
It's
that.
kinda like-
But they didn't celebrate too much. Like the Eagles put the banner up without any fanfare or anything like that.
Right.
They weren't really
Yeah.
celebrating. They just put it up and
All right.
no one really noticed.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
a good point,
The
Fink.
job's not done, right?
Yeah,
It's not done.
No, we're winning
But
this.
don't equate this to little league kids from Delco. I mean,
Yeah. No disrespect to
it's
the kids
hard
from
as
media.
shit for a little league team
Yeah,
to make
yeah, I
it to
know.
Williamsport, and they should be celebrated
Rob,
for
tell
that.
us where how you want to sit on the 12.
Remember, I'm just remembering the Taney kids from back in the day. They had the girl pitcher. They won the whole damn thing,
Jimmy
man.
Davis, he's an intern with the Dodgers now.
Yes.
that right? Look at that.
Yeah. Monet's
One of
intern.
the kids. from
Very
the
cool.
team-
We want winners around here. And I'm just
Yes.
kidding.
Tigers
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
It's amazing.
Anyhow,
I
sorry
know
about
some
that. I
things.
didn't mean to interject.
We're not
I'm
going to
sorry.
take that as you
Well,
bash
just no
each other.
hoagies, cuz.
No,
Yeah.
shout out
Fink
to
snobs,
the
Steve.
Media Little League squad, man. Good job, kids.
There
Good
you go.
job.
Thank you.
Rock
You
comes
had-
all
you had
the
to
way
save
around.
yourself
You got
there.
your turn.
While we have Anthony here, he's literally one of the biggest legends in Philadelphia media, especially today. Like, there's not too many guys who were from the old school that have done it with the written word and then made it into sports talk. It just doesn't happen anymore. You either start your own blog or you get a stupid podcast
Twitter account.
where you get a couple friends and a couple
Sounds
microphones
familiar.
and get a buddy to shoot it. But and you were from like the old school where you had to forge your way. Now, how did you make? You started in Chicago? Is that
So I
is that where you
was
got
at
hired?
Temple. So I went to Temple.
You went to Temple.
and I
Shout out
was
to Al's.
I tried Al's baby, and I started. I was a stringer for the Burlington County Times. In New
You're going to have to
Jersey.
define stringer for
Okay,
me.
so the stringers, I would cover. I got paid. I guess it was like $15 to write a story on a high school game. So I would go on the sidelines and I would chart it and I would write the story, and I would cover local preps while I was at Temple. And then I had a buddy, one of my best friends, Vinny, moved to Chicago. Right, like he was living in Chicago. I go, you know what? I had talked to all the real legends, right? The Ray Diddy, all
Shout out
those
Ray Diddy,
people, you name it, right? There's a guy,
Which is
Pat
so
McClune,
cool to learn
who I
under, I
loved
mean.
from the Daily News. And they were like, dude, you can't just come into Philadelphia. Like, you have to leave.
Yeah.
You have to come. If you want to come back, you come back. But the only way to actually work here is if you leave and get experience.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Let me go to Chicago. So I go to Chicago, and I was a stringer. Really, that means part-time for the Associated Press. And then I worked for a couple of suburban newspapers in Chicago. And then from there, like you would get your clips, right? So you would write these stories, and I would cover all Chicago sports. Jordan was there, which was unbelievable. It was all this stuff. And I would get these clips, Notre Dame, the Bears, you name it.
Yeah.
And I would put together a portfolio.
Right.
And then I would send it out to newspapers all over the country. I used to spend freaking like $100 every week. I would go to the post office and send this stuff out. And then
Not like you could just log on LinkedIn.
No, right? You literally had to look. There was there was a book that you had to buy called Editor and Publisher, and it would list all the sports editors around the country. So I would get their names and I would send, and I write the cover letter. Hi, I'm Anthony Gargano. Blah, blah, blah. And I would send out all this stuff, and I had shoe boxes of rejection letters.
Right.
With every, Sacramento Bee. Had a couple close calls. I almost went to Cincinnati, almost went to San Jose, to Mercury News to cover the Niners. And I finally get a hit, and it was from the New York Post. And they had Murdoch had just bought back the newspaper. And so I fly to New York, and they're like, we have two beats open, the Giants and the Mets. And I was like, I fucking hate the Mets. But you know what? And I go, and I love football.
That's the better.
And I love baseball. I love
Right, that's the
football.
better
Right?
beat.
But I was like, and they're like, the Mets start right away. The Giants will start, and this was like in the winter, or actually it was in March. And the Giants will start later for training camp. So I was like, I'll take the Mets because I wanted the job right then.
Right.
So I went home. So I came home to Philly.
Now, what year is this?
This is 94.
94.
I came back to Philly, and my buddies, we all went out. We had a big party. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I started, and I did the Mets for about a year and a half, right up to the strike.
Right.
The big baseball strike.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
actually 94, if you guys remember.
As
Oh,
an
yeah, I
Expos
remember.
were in first place. I
Maybe
remember.
you don't remember. Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? I don't remember that shit. That shit's old. But it was a big baseball strike, and then the World Series got canceled. In fact, the Mets were playing the Phillies on August 12th. I'll never forget it, because the players were going on strike, so they had to get their own way back to Shea.
Right.
So I go, dude. I was friendly with a guy named John Franco. He was on that team. He was a lefty reliever.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I go, Johnny, do me a favor. Can I come on the bus with you guys back to Shea, and I'll just write the story about you guys going into this unknown world,
Right.
where the games are going to end. He's like, yeah. So I go back. I ride on the bus with them, and the Dateline, wherever you are in the story, you write it because wherever the city is. So I put somewhere along the Jersey Turnpike, and I was pounding beers with those dudes, and they were like really. I liked a lot of those guys. Doc Good was on there, and Bonilla.
Great group.
Wow.
of guys.
Saberhagen was
Yeah.
a good for Todd
Just because you
Hunger.
hated the team, the
Yeah.
guys were great.
They were fun.
Yeah.
Like I got pretty friendly
Yeah.
with a lot of those guys. I still talk to. There's a guy named David Segui who I still talk to this day. Hunley, we used to go because I was young. I was like I had to be 24 maybe at the time. So I was pretty. So I was like kind of like
Their
Franco
same
was
age.
older than me.
Yeah.
So it was
He was
funny.
good on the Mariners.
Yes. He was good. He played Baltimore, lefty.
Yeah.
In fact, so when Charlie is up for the job, when Charlie Manuel's up for the job, if you guys remember, he was getting
It was
killed.
like Jim Leland.
Right. Everybody wanted Jimmy Leland.
Dusty Baker, right?
Yeah. Leland stops. In fact, there used to be like a Rite Aid on Broad and just north of Pat.
Yeah.
Right?
I know that, right.
And Leland stopped, a great story, he would stop to buy smokes. So before the interview, right?
On his way to the dugout.
So he winds up, so Charlie gets the job.
Yeah.
So Segui calls me up and he's like, dude, Charlie is the greatest. I love him. You got to take care of him for me, man. Like, I'm like, yeah, no problem. So Segui calls Charlie. He goes, meet my buddy Anthony, right? So Charlie gets the job, and then they were together in Cleveland. Remember that great Cleveland Indians
Well,
team
that's how Tommy got here because,
Yes.
and I think that's why
Yeah.
they hired Charlie, right, to recruit Tommy.
recruit Tommy,
Yeah.
and he was a great hitting coach,
Oh,
great
he was
baseball man.
awesome, man.
You know, so Charlie and I
but-
became really close through Segui, and they were killing Charlie.
Yeah.
Everybody was killing him.
I was younger, but I was like, he's a country bumpkin. He don't know shit.
Right.
you know?
Well, listen, we all have that innate
He
kind of
seemed
like
he seemed like the least Philly guy.
bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you grew up in rural Virginia and the whole thing.
Played ball in Japan. Like
Yeah.
he just wasn't played in Minnesota, right? Like he
I'll tell you, I got
didn't-
one great Charlie story for you. All right. If I digress.
Yeah.
So Charlie is in Japan because you brought it up.
Yeah.
So they go for spring training. Now, their spring training is actually really workouts. Like they work less on baseball and more on conditioning. So he's like, Anthony, they had me riding up or jogging up a mountain. And so all day long, he goes, I was so tired, I was so beat. They take me to this bathhouse. And he goes, I'm really beat up and tired, and it's real hot. So I go in the corner of this bathhouse, and he goes, I close my eyes, I open them, and I see like 100 naked women who are in the pool with me, in the bath with me. And I look up, and I think I'm dreaming. And
I die?
He goes, no, they came over to me. They were feeling my arms. Look at the muscles.
He's a big dude. Yeah.
Uncle
I
Charlie.
said, my man, Charlie.
Uncle
And he
Charles.
goes, I'm not saying anything, Anthony.
He's a married man now, but back then he wasn't.
Hell yeah.
Amazing. Well,
Great story.
It's so interesting.
You know, my not to interrupt, but my second kid that's going into high school tomorrow, he was born a few months after the 2008 World Series. Charlie Manuel's middle name, is Charles Fuca Manuel.
Yes. Yeah.
So my son, his name is Maximus Fuca Malici. I gave him
Dude,
the
that's a great name.
I gave him the Fuca middle name.
I love that.
I thought that story was
Oh,
going
and
somewhere
by the
else
way,
after the
you got
bathhouse.
Maximus? Maximus rules, man. I got Massimo.
Yeah.
I thought that was close to
Yeah,
Maximus.
yeah, close enough.
My wife came up then.
That's commitment, Meech. Yeah, very well done.
I
I
love
was
it.
way into the Phillies and Charlie.
obvious
I
reasons.
still have the 2008 World Series jersey. I have the manual jersey. I don't have any players.
Do you really?
I have Charlie
Oh,
Manuel.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
About it.
I got to get him here.
What you said.
Yeah.
Oh,
go.
you're
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
Uncle Chuck's my guy.
And he's
Uncle
doing.
Chuck.
Listen, the coolest thing about him is that he's so one of us. Like, if I tell you down to earth, regular dude, I'll get him here. I promise. That'll be one thing I'll promise.
There we go.
All right.
Wasn't he there when we went to see the Phillies up in New York?
Yeah,
Fans of
we
Phillies trip?
went
Yeah.
on a trip up to New
Yankee
York
Stadium.
with fans of Philly. In the
Shout out
beginning.
fans of Philly.
Shout out fans of Philly to see the Yankees when the Phillies were 0-3 heading into the series, and we got harassed by a bunch of young Jewish kids. It was like their first time harassing other fans, and the Phillies got smoked. But it was a great experience. But Charlie Manuel was there when the buses were loading up, saying hello to everybody. So that was amazing. But back to the evolution of your story.
He's an old school baseball guy, and I just want to say, sorry to interrupt you again. Everyone's interrupting you tonight. Just
That's
because of the theme. But it's interesting, Anthony, the guys you mentioned that you have gravitated to, because Charlie's such an old school baseball guy. John Franco, I think he was like from New York. He was a
Yeah,
fireman.
his father
He
was a
super
sanitation
old school
worker.
New
Yeah.
Yorker. You're a Philly guy, the guys you gravitated, like that, they sort of like represent your ilk. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you know what? And I think that's kind of like us, we're like us as a city and us really here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literal and it's figurative in that who we are. Like, you know, when you're born of this soil, you're just who you are. Like,
You don't know any better.
Look at Jesse, right? I mean,
I'm of the soil, Ant.
I mean, that's what it is.
I am of it.
No, but it's interesting. You were talking about this earlier, and Meech, you were talking about it. Like, I always say to people, the craziest thing to me is with the Eagles specifically, right? Because you only have so many games. You know, people will talk about how you can tell if the Eagles won or lost when you're walking around on a Monday after a game. It sounds kind of lame. We're sitting here talking about ourselves and how great it is, but the truth is that emotion is baked into you, right? And that is because as you grow up, you know, my son now every morning it's, you know, YouTube highlights what happened, and you just it becomes part of your
that learned Philadelphia
connection
behavior,
to
man.
the community, and it just becomes part of who you are.
And is there a cooler thing as a father when a game ends before your kid goes to bed and he wakes up the next morning? He's like, "Who won?"
Yeah, what's
like
going
as soon as he wakes up, he's like, "Yo, who won last night?" It's like the coolest thing as a dad.
I literally did that today, and I said to my kid, I said, "Hey, did you watch the Phillies last night?" I said, "Oh, no." I said, "Get on YouTube and watch the highlights because I'll tell you that it was pretty cool, you know," and that experience is amazing. But like I said, it's really baked in. I'm super interested, and I know your entire story is fantastic. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about that has always been something special for me, being a fan of yours. You know, I'm one of these guys very early on who got turned on to kind of sports media and like just couldn't get enough. And it's crazy because, you know, I was in a band for many years. Yeah. Super into music. But when I'm home here, all I listen to is sports radio. That's all I've listened to like my entire life.
Yeah, what are you going to listen to? B101?
Well, right. Well, but interestingly, you know, with all the different, you know, Spotify and all this stuff now, but nothing changes, right? It's like you want to hear the discourse, right? And you've been a part of that for so long. And the one thing that was always so amazing to me, a lot of guys, I think, thought, and maybe rightfully so, to be successful, that they had to choose, you know, a polarizing topic and take one side of it. Yeah, well, they had to come in.
And that's big now. I mean, you look at,
that's like,
for the last 5 years, hot takes have become really kind of ruled the industry.
Right. Well, and that's what Rock was thinking when he came to the show, you know, going to pile on the Little League World Series. He's going with these little kids.
I'm not ripping any little kids.
Losers.
Rock is the new breed of
they don't
hot
deserve
take
any
media.
coverage in the media.
No, but my point is
them
this.
kids.
There are a lot of guys that have done well by coming on and saying things that I'm literally saying to myself, you cannot be serious, like what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And I can never tell if they actually think that. I think in a lot of cases they don't, because they're like, I know what will trigger the reaction and will get people talking. And it doesn't matter if they hate me or not. And I hated that, because what I do, for better or worse, is I try to just be myself and do what feels natural. But I always loved you because I could listen to you and you would, like, and I don't want to call you a fan, right? Because I know you're a journalist and you've been a part of the media. But at the same time, you're us. And, like, you don't put any filter on that when you go on the air. And so when I listen to you, like, if something good happens, like, I want to listen to you because I know you're going to express the joy that I'm feeling.
You have that feeling of, like, an uncle who has vast sports knowledge. It's like that your favorite uncle, like your favorite uncle who has like just all the knowledge in the world.
But
it's like I can.
The question that I have,
my bro.
the question that I have for you is, and I think I already know the answer. Like, my guess is that you're just being yourself at every time you get behind the microphone, right? And it's not. And I know there's a lot of show prep, and I'm sure there's been pressure by production managers to, pick topics that are going to resonate. But it just seems like every time you're on that you're just being yourself. And my question to you is only, how has it been carving out that kind of niche for yourself? Has it been just organic? Has it been tough? What is it like to be kind of that guy?
You're perceptive, Jess. I mean, the thing it's funny because I didn't know nothing about radio. I mean, literally nothing. I like you guys, like I grew up listening to sports talk radios, right? So I listened to Howard, I listened to Angelo, I listened to Mike. Steve
Frederick.
Steve, I was S&M. I loved it, man. I listened to those guys all the time. I loved it. I can remember Howard, before WIP existed, was on WWDB,
right?
And I remember cursing him like I was a kid and I would listen under my pillow, and he would be talking about the Sixers and the Celtics. And Sixers have no chance, genius. Like, he would say that. And I'm like, come on, man, you're from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah. Go do the wash.
Yeah.
Go do the wash. What are you making for dinner tonight?
And what's for dinner?
What are you wearing right now?
Yeah, so
Remember
much,
that?
so much shit.
I hit that shit. You can't say to that.
He's out of there, dude.
You'd be canceled.
And by the way, if you don't know what we're alluding to, Howard Eskin, who has had a great career, and God bless him.
He's a legend, man.
He's great,
OG.
and we'd love to have him.
Seriously.
We'll get him on too. But he used to say things about women should be what are you making for dinner, and things that just would absolutely get
Angelo
you.
too. He had a whole shtick on it.
Oh
He
my
talked
God,
about it when he
Angelo.
retired. He's like, I could never do that.
Right,
Oh
right,
my
right,
God.
right, right,
It's
Yeah, since we're
unbelievable.
talking about this, man, who are some of who's your favorite person that you worked with in your long, illustrious career?
So I love Mikey Miss. Mikey Miss and we still are great friends. That was at his daughter's wedding not too long ago.
We had him on. He couldn't say anything but good stuff about it. So
he's the best. Like, so I love Mikey. There was a guy who I loved. Actually, I have to. I don't want to slight anybody. Steve Martirano. I don't know if you guys remember that name.
So good.
Stevie was the best. Like, he was cool. He was a cool motherfucker. Like, he would come in, he'd have his linen shirt. Like, he was a big Eagles fan. He wasn't a sports, like, I'm a sports nerd.
Right.
He wasn't. He was this cool dude, and we just had this kind of, older guy, younger guy kind of relationship, and he was dynamite. Glenn, I love Glenn. I mean, he was the first guy I ever worked with was him. Ray Diddy. I mean, like, Ray was the first time I ever did a show was with Ray Diddinger.
Oh,
man.
man.
I
I mean, like,
you're like pressure
I
on
was
you.
here speechless.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to Ray
supposed to,
Diddinger about football.
do a show with you.
All right?
Yeah.
Like, do I belong? Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
what can I say to you about football?
Right, exactly.
Can I tell
never
you a
forget
quick story about Mike Miss, because we had Mike Miss on the show. And so, I hit him up, and he's like, oh, yeah, sure, Jess. Like, had no idea, like, what he was getting into. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So online, the Finkus over here is, he's kind of popular.
Legend.
He's kind of popular on the internet.
He's a beast online.
Oh,
Yeah. So people start, like, I guess it kind of, maybe we put something out about how we were going to have Mike on the show, and people started, like throwing stuff at Mike about Fink, and I think Fink, like, back in the day, maybe had said some things, and, like, he hits me up. Mike Miss goes,
So there was a thing.
so but Mike hits me up and he goes, Jess, what exactly, who does this show with you? Who's this Fink guy? I'm like, it's all good, man. It's going to be fine. You're totally good.
Fink's
You're
a
totally
good dude, man.
I love it because we became buddies. Like, it's funny, like, almost online, but, like, it was like, wow, man. Like, I love, he's a great follow. Got to follow the Fink, man.
Really is.
He's a great caller, too, when he calls in every
I
once in a while.
love the Fink, man. I'll always quote the Fink.
And by the
on
way, I
show.
don't know if you know this, Anthony. What he is now, this is the Fink Tank over here. There's a sign on there. You'll have to read it if you can. The Fink Tank. We created his own area for him just because he's so special. His contribution is so unique. And
He started off as a guest, but we couldn't let him go. So
we had to
brought
keep
him as a
him.
recruit.
That's great.
Who was he with?
So-
who was he with that day, Meech?
Okay, so little history on the show. It's funny because this is all kind of tying it together. We did an episode that was called Donut Man and the Hoagie
Donut
Mouth.
Guy and
Donut
Hoagie
Guy in the Hoagie Mouth. And at the time, and this will be a good segue because I want you to talk about this too. Tom and I have known each other for many years, and the movie Hustle, we'll talk about, was coming out, and Adam Sandler was wearing Federal Donuts in the, all of the marketing materials. And so I hit up Tom, like, Tom, you got to come on. I just started this podcast a couple months ago. You got to come on and talk about this. And Tom, being the guy that he is, said absolutely. It just so happened we had the legendary Fink coming in for the show. So we had the both of them on this show, and it was great, and we had a great time. And then ever since, they kind of just folded into
We
the
never
family.
let him go.
But it's interesting.
They put me over here, Ant. They put me over here, though.
Yeah.
I was like, where's Tommy? How come Tommy's over here?
Well, it's-
Because, Tommy and I go way back, too.
Tom's the brains of the operation.
Tom, you used to come on the show, right?
Always.
Tell me about the chicken.
It was hilarious. I would, like, text them or, like, Anthony or Jamie and be like, hey, you guys want some sandwiches or something? Or Jamie would text me, and I'd come by with donuts and sandwiches, and Ant would literally just be like, hop on. I'm like, all right, cool. Put on the mic, hop in.
You were natural too.
And he's like, so what's going on?
Well,
You know,
look at
what
him.
do you think about this? And I'd hop in, and then I'd sit back, and it's like 20 minutes I'm on there. This happened another time, and then eventually Jamie, he comes into me all sheepish, and he's like, Tom, listen, man, like, we love you, but our sponsors are really yelling at us because they pay a lot of money for it. They're just texting us, and we want to have you on. We want to hang out and bullshit, but like we can't. And
Yeah.
So that's the only
so that was that.
that's the only downside of like this corporate kind of radio thing, because listen, we joke about Primos and Finks, right? We're joking around with this whole thing.
Primos.
And look,
Shout out Finks.
creative people. The one thing I did learn is that somebody's got to pay for it, right? Like my passion is to write and to do shows.
There's got to
and
be sponsors
all
and
kinds of
people-
stuff. Somebody's got to pay you, right, to do it. So
We're
that
working
was
on
one-
that.
That was, and listen, and it'll come. But the issue is the suits. Like, I fucking hate the people in radio, right? Like, they're just vile creatures, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I told you, like, and these bosses
They know nothing
are
about the
worst.
creative side.
They know nothing about it. And they know nothing about, half of them aren't from here, right? And they want to come in and tell you what to do and tell you, like, dude, you don't know.
that's not
You
gonna
never-
work
you
here,
don't-
yeah.
Right, you never stepped in dirty Philly water on the next to the street on the curb. You never did any of that. So picking a half ball out of the sewer, like you never did that. So dude, shut the fuck up. Like, leave me alone. Just let me do my job.
Yeah.
The one thing I do know is I
It's
know how to
Philly,
do my job.
right.
So why don't you just leave me alone? Let me do my thing. So if I want to have Tom on and make him a character because he's interesting and he's a part of the community, I'm not riffing off of it. I'm not. How many times did I mention Federal Donuts? I'm going to mention it in the beginning when you came on, right? But I didn't go.
But it
I didn't
wasn't
whore
like
it
an
out.
ad. It
Like,
wasn't an ad. We were just sitting there chopping
I
it up.
was
And it was
enamored with Tom. I thought Tom was interesting.
Well, look at
right.
him.
So as a host,
He cut his beard
I
off.
like interesting people.
Yep.
Right, because I think the audience wants to hear from interesting people. And so that was the only. I don't even like donuts. Yeah. Right. Like,
and he doesn't. He doesn't. I swear to God, it's hilarious.
Who doesn't like donuts?
He wouldn't even eat them. It wasn't even about that. It was just.
I was like, oh, I love this Tom, man. He's dynamite. Like, he's cool. Yeah. I like cool people. Right?
You know
So
what?
I
If you listen to the
think.
Suits your whole career, you wouldn't be where you are. Like a guy like Howard Stern, he probably never listened to the Suits.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And look where he's at.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
that guy's a legend, right?
Yeah.
Like those real. I still consider myself more of a writer, creative person.
In terms of the Suits around here, we got to deal with this guy.
I'm the suits. If this is as bad as it gets, be the suit.
God,
Then you
you
guys
have
are
no
doing fine.
idea,
Nah, I'm
brother.
just
Real
kidding,
quick,
man. I'm
I
just
just want to
kidding.
say,
Breaking a whip before
And there
you
was a
got
guy,
here.
and I loved him, and he was a
I'm just
nice
kidding.
man. I didn't hate him, but there was a guy, Tom Bigby, who was our first program director at WIP, and he was cool with me. Like the other guys have horror stories. I think I got him toward the end where he was kind of mellow a little bit, but he would say, Anthony, stop talking Phillies. And like I love it's summertime.
Yeah, what the fuck are you
I'm
talking about?
talking-
Golf?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's
like
like-
talk Eagles. I'm like, listen, we all love the Eagles, but give it a rest a little bit, and let me talk a little Phillies. Right, even though they weren't, any good,
Right,
whatever.
you still have
we
to
care
talk
about them. There's memories. There's everything. They're a big part of it.
The only
They would
team-
yell at you to not talk about the Phillies.
The only team Philadelphia sports stations don't need you to talk about is the Flyers.
Especially
That's the
now.
only one.
Especially now.
I miss them, man. I gotta tell you.
Really? And
I actually like what
how
they're doing now.
sad
They're
is it-
finally doing, I think, the right thing.
Yeah, just clean house
Yeah.
and start over.
And
they
I
might as
think
well have a
Jonesy's
goddamn expansion draft and become a new team.
Is Simmons still on the squad?
It's so goddamn embarrassing.
Not Ben.
Every goddamn hockey team makes the playoffs, and the Flyers haven't made it in what?
Listen,
8 years.
we'll talk.
I know.
We'll talk about the
I
Flyers
know.
when they get
can we-
semi-good
wait,
again.
Yeah,
what are we
hold
talking
on,
about?
hold on,
Hold on.
Jonesy hires is exciting.
Real quick.
I love
It is
Jonesy.
exciting.
Yeah, I
Listen,
do.
I do want to
Yeah.
come back and talk about hustle because I think your experience
Hell
with
yeah.
that has to be amazing. I know you got some good stories, but you reminded me we do have to pay the bills here too with the City Pigeons. So let me take a minute to talk about the fine sponsors of the program. First, let me start with A-Best Swag. I don't know if you know Jason Kelsey's Underdog clothes.
Yeah,
have you seen
yeah,
these?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the company that prints those manufacturers of that clothing is called A-Best Swag. They're a sponsor of the podcast.
Nice.
They make all of the fine shirts.
you ever hear of the Schwarby
Have you seen the
tee?
Schwarby shirt? Anthony,
Did you hear that?
take a look at this. Okay.
Wow, look at that. I love it.
Now, Anthony,
That's great.
this is the brainchild of one Mike Meech. It is
Did you
the
bring Anthony a small? Well, come on.
I mean,
We've got the
I didn't
limited
bring
amounts
Anthony
left.
this.
I got a
don't
little-
think
I got a
he's
little
going to wear
new
it
dogs.
personally.
Yeah.
Okay, so A-Best
we have
Swag,
men's
guys,
sizes of
listen, if you have any printing needs of any kind, they just printed a bunch of stuff for us over at Make the World Better. We got a big concert coming up, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. They printed all of our stuff for that. They printed a tent. They can print anything you need. Fine makers of Underdog, Federal Donuts, the Schwarby shirt. By the way, citypigeonspod.com.
Great guys, too.
We're debating. We did sell out of the Schwarby shirts, okay?
They are
So-
sold out. I think we're going to try and make a second run and maybe a crew neck for the fall.
But we gotta hear from people.
Hoodie.
We gotta
Hoodie.
hear if you want this.
I'll take
then
one of them hoodies.
we will do it. We gotta hear from you. If you want more Schwarby shirts, let us know. We'll get them done. But you can also
First
get
run sold out,
Yeah,
though.
it's sold out. But you can get a fine City Pigeons tie-dye shirt. I should have one right now, but I don't.
I need that,
CityPigeonspod.com.
actually.
Check that out. It's a fine item. So A-Best Swag, Alex, thank you so much for supporting the show. Secondly, we got a great company called JBMP, who is a real estate company that does leasing and rentals throughout the area. A lot of great properties around here.
Mark, you
Fishtown.
got that property of the week
Mark,
over there?
can we hit you up with the JBMP listing of the week?
JPMB.
JBMP.
JBMP property of the week is the Cecil. Ooh,
I love
Cecil Fielder.
800.
What about Cecil the Diesel Martin? Cecil Martin.
Wow.
The
Cecil B.
Cecil
Moore.
Martin
What college?
is located Wisconsin, I believe. Hell yeah.
Let's go, Mark. These not just Hawaiian shirts. Okay, JBMP.
JBMP the Cecil 1643 North 2nd Street. 20 luxury apartments opening this fall. Garage parking, a furnished roof deck. If anyone has a pet, there's a pet relief station.
Pet relief.
What if I
This
got a
will be
pet
coming up this
alligator?
fall. Studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. It is across the street, ladies and gentlemen, and especially the ladies. It is across the street from Stateside Distillery. What?
Wait,
okay.
where's that?
Get your Surfside and
That's where we had
iced
our wedding
tea.
party.
Hold up, real quick. Okay, you had your wedding party there. I just want everyone to know, and I'm going to segue into another thing here real quick. Bear with me. I was at Stateside Vodka on Tuesday picking up like 30 cases of Surfsides and seltzers and vodka because
We've been
we
drinking them all
have
night.
the Make the World Better benefit concert this weekend on Saturday. Okay,
thought
it's going
they
to be
were
a
a sponsor
great
now.
event. I've got the concert, limited edition concert T-shirt on. Can you grab it? It's right over there. Can you grab that for me? We print these shirts every year. We have this concert. It's beautiful. It's at the Dell.
butter soft
It's
right
at the Dell Music Center. Okay, which is an awesome venue.
Great
in
Philly
venue.
legend.
I love that venue.
Okay, so here's the deal. We have you guys would love this. We set up a tailgate event before the concert, okay? And I work with my boy Tommy over here. He's bringing Federal Donuts. He's bringing Goldie, okay, for the vegetarians, right? Falafel, what have you. I tend to go more towards the fattening chicken sandwiches, but it is what it is. We've got Human Robot Beer. Stateside Vodka has been a huge supporter of Make the World Better for years and years and years. So get online. We still have about 20 or 30 tailgate tickets left. The show's almost sold out. There's like 4,000 tickets sold. It's going to be bananas.
Yeah, why don't you tell me about
Yeah,
it?
it's the first I'm hearing of this.
Listen, if you're my friend, then you would know about this because I post about this stuff all the time. So, you got to take a look.
we're not online
Anyway,
like that.
bottom line is we talked to us a little. Connor Barwin's Foundation,
Yep.
right? We're doing good work community, building parks and rec facilities. This is the shirt for this year. Leko, get a good look at this, okay? It's beautiful. We had a designer make this. It's got a little like hand-drawn picture of the Dell. Check this out, folks.
Is that from
That's
A-Best?
cool, man.
This
From
one
A-Best?
right here is
Dude,
for
you're
one
getting a
only
Dell.
Tommy Boy, because he's been supporting the cause for years, okay? And that's how we roll. So look, come out and support. And Ant, on that note, bit of a pivot. We know you got like a travel agency going on. You've been going out to Italy.
My wife, yeah.
And we were talking about hooking up because Connor's got the Italian basketball
Right,
team
right,
over
right,
there.
right. Yeah.
How was your trip to Italy? Because you went over there recently,
so,
right? I got to hear about this. I mean, what are we eating?
It was awesome. My wife and Vince from Philly Sports Trips, we kind of got together to do this Italy travel company so we took 40 people
Dang.
to the Amalfi Coast. And we were in
Like White Lotus
sounds
season
terrible.
2?
Yeah, kind of. We went to Rome, Naples, and Sorrento, and it was I love it there. There is a town. So my wife and I found this place that's like our happy place. And someday I'll write novels and screenplays and live there. It's on the Gargano Peninsula, believe it or not.
get outta
It's in northern Puglia on the Adriatic Sea. and it's called Vieste, and it's
No idea where that is.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's this beautiful kind of town, and I just want to show everybody. The food is ridiculous, but the people are really warm. The beaches,
Well,
it's like.
are
it's
they
unbelievable.
interested in things that boost tourism there?
Yeah,
Because I think
Yeah.
potentially a City Pigeons podcast from the
Yeah.
Gargano Peninsula
Yeah,
could
well,
boost tourism.
Wait,
I don't
hold
know.
on.
Are you going to run this trip again?
What was
Yeah,
that?
because-
Yeah, I need to hear
So I
about
got in
the
trouble trying to
details
get
of
my-
this.
I don't have a passport yet, so I'm getting a passport.
He hasn't been out of the country.
My wife and I have a passport.
Shocker.
And we're totally.
I had the passports, but I'm getting one on the 28th.
Congratulations.
And the first
Thank-
thing that we talked about was Italy.
Oh, dude.
So I mean,
Gotta go.
Dude, yeah,
Can we
it's
set him up?
outrageous,
Like,
man.
can
It's,
you set him up?
I'm gonna have to hit you
Yeah,
up
I got
with
it hooked up. I got you
All
hooked
right,
up.
I'm in.
Wait,
Fully-
and
And next trip, me and my wife are going.
yeah, wait, can you talk about this like company? That is this like a thing
Gargano, yeah, it's Gargano travel.com. Yeah.
Your wife is going to be like, who are
Gargano
these
Travel
Goombas
Group,
that
I'm
booked
gonna
the
get it
trip
right.
and sold
Listen,
it out? Who are we
yeah.
going with?
Yeah, dude.
Well, you think
Yeah,
about
next year we're already building. We're going to.
This is going to be
When's the
like
next
a
trip?
City
'Cause
Pigeons
yeah,
class
this is-
trip.
I'm thinking about
next
going too.
summer we're doing the same Amalfi Coast, right? And then we're going to do Sicily,
Okay.
and then we're going to do Puglia, which is on the other side, right? So you have the Mediterranean side, and then we're going to do Puglia and Venice and Croatia, which is on the all in that.
Gargano trips.
GarganoTravelGroup.com.
Yeah, thanks.
So instead of Wildwood next summer, we'll do that.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, I miss my
No,
wallet.
I'm in.
you know?
I'm in. I want to. I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's,
got-
it's
yeah, that's-
awesome. You know what's cool, right? Like what's real is that you go there, and they're enamored with us.
Yeah,
right.
right.
And they love, they love basketball, right? So it's unbelievable. The Sixers, like I was talking more basketball.
That's crazy.
Than anything. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. Rock, I love the fact that it's Kobe's birthday today.
Hell yeah, that's why I threw this on,
Wow.
man.
And you had that on.
Yeah, man. That's why I threw it on, man. Rest
Also-
in peace, Kobe.
As we look at the attire of everybody here, I noticed Mike Meech over here has got the Kenwood Citywide shirt on. And I have to say, so Kenwood, I don't know how much you know about these guys, but they're a local beer company. It's one of the best light beers you
One
could
of the
ever
best.
have.
Wait, did you just say one of the best?
I was just
Nah,
trying
dude.
to be political.
The
You know,
best,
the
bro.
best, okay?
The
Now,
best.
And they've been supporting the program since the very beginning. They give us lots of beer for our tailgates. We have great tailgates, too. We got to get you down there. And they just visited the Coop today. And word on the street is we're going to get our own Kenwood kegerator that's going to live here. And they're just going to put kegs in it. We can drink beer whenever we want.
Excuse me.
That's awesome.
Wait, what?
If we only had a shower, we could totally live here.
Yeah,
we got to add a shower.
Gotta get me a room, all right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I almost had to
My
live
little
here when you
spot.
guys left that freaking generator on my
Said
porch.
when my
for
wife kicks me
3
out,
weeks.
this is where I'm going to hang.
Exactly.
I call the beanbag chair.
All right. So one thing that I wanted to talk to you
Hustle.
about.
Come on, get into the hustle stuff.
We'll get to hustle. I do want to get there, but I was thinking about this, and something that you've always done that I just thought was great is the whole violation thing. I can't. So is that a you and Mike Miss thing? Who owns that? As you
So
share
that's
that?
yeah, we did it together.
Okay.
When we had our show together, and it was short-lived, but it was we had a lot of
great
fun.
show.
Because we would go out
That was
all
a
the
good
time.
show.
Right.
We would always go out together and go hang, drinking. I had my friends. Everybody would come in. We'd all hang out. And Mike we'd always do name the 26ers that were whatever.
Yeah.
Bust out. We do all kinds of games. So we started doing this violation. That's a violation. And it came from there. It just kind of
It's just great.
took off.
I've always thought it was great.
I think everybody in Philadelphia, when something comes up where another person does it, that's a violation.
It's part of the lexicon.
Chat. We were talking about today's show. We're like, that's a violation.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely a violation.
Yeah, it was, I mean,
it just comes out. And
Yeah.
it's like violation.
Bringing
So-
Primo hoagies onto the City Pigeon Podcast.
It's a violation. No, but so I thought it would be fun to, get your ruling on a couple potential violations.
do
So
it.
I'm going to start. And given that we have kids that both play travel sports, okay, my son is like the kind of kid who can't get enough. He wants everything. He just wants to go to Dick's. You know what I mean? He's like, can I get this bat wrap? Can I get this thumb guard? I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? So here's my question. Hear me out.
Dude, I love doing that.
Is it a violation for a parent to buy their son a sliding mitt in a league where it's not legal to slide headfirst into a base? Go.
So how old is he?
He's 11U.
Right. So mine's 10U.
They all have it, right?
Right. So it's funny. I'm just about because he's starting 11U in the fall.
Right, so they're going into leads.
Right,
So
right.
just
We
for
just
people at
started
home,
that.
the difference is this. In 10U, you have to stay on the base until the pitch crosses. In 11U, the bases get further out, and you can take leads and you can steal. However, there's still a rule against sliding head first. So the only
Right.
scenario where you can go head first into a bag is
back
when you
to
go
first.
back to first, in which case you do not need a sliding mitt. Now, there are kids who come up to the plate and they've got the sliding mitt sticking out of their back pocket. Now, look, I don't want to hate on kids like Rock does, but the point is this. They're watching the majors. They just want to be like the majors. I get it. And we actually talked about sliding mitts last.
We did, and the
Sliding mitts themselves are a violation at any level of baseball.
Trey Turner still looks like a little kid when he's got two sliding
You know another
mitts on his
violation along the lines of sliding mitts is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. winning the home run derby wearing batting gloves. Both violations. Keep it real.
Okay. Time out.
Sliding gloves. Hold on, let me tell you
Time
about
out.
that.
I'm not ready to leave sliding mitts, okay? My first take on sliding mitts was this is total bullshit. It looks stupid. It looks like you're about to bake a pie. And, that extra inch or two could be a huge However, at some point it kind of clicked in my mind and I thought, well, when a guy has a sliding mitt on, they can go into the base with like 100% reckless abandon, right? Like they don't even hold up for a minute.
You mean like Pete Rose did?
Dykstra didn't go back hard?
Come on, man.
So I just started to think, okay, like
How many times does a guy break a finger sliding into a base? Hardly ever.
It happens.
It happens, but hardly ever.
It's like when the guys started
just
wearing
slide,
these
dude.
things because they're breaking their hands. All I'm saying is I've kind of come around. But in a scenario where it's illegal to slide headfirst into the bag, I think you got to draw a line as a parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So where's he playing at?
He plays for Mount Airy Stars, so up in the Northwest.
So he's going into 11U or he's going into 12U?
He's actually a year younger though. He's playing up, but he's going to be in 12U next summer.
Okay,
So
right.
He just
Is
played
is he
11U.
playing in the fall?
Yeah, they're playing one-off games and stuff. Yeah.
So we do the same thing, but it's a violation because every kid wants to look the part,
Right.
And I do the same thing. I go to Dick's and I walk
Oh, my
around
God.
and I go.
Dick's
"Damn."
is the death of me, man.
Here's how
I
far
walk
I
around.
went.
I go. I want all this stuff.
When I was a kid,
I was a kid now.
You know what my accessory of choice was when I was a kid? I had the Ricky Henderson Mizuno neon green
Yeah,
glove.
dude.
'Cause I played for Somerton Spartans. We were green and yellow, so we were the same colors as the Athletics. And those neon green Mizunos,
Yeah, they were
when
cool.
you wiggled your fingers at first base, man,
What the hell
like
are you
right
talking
now.
about?
Let me
You
say
remember
this too.
The neon green.
No, he doesn't.
we'll
Of
have
course
to
he doesn't.
I
upload
played
them
football
with-
growing up. I played a man's sport.
On
so
the
you don't
subject,
know.
real quick, on the related.
Ricky
Kids out
Henderson,
ripping baseball.
the
Shout out to
most
Mount Airy
prolific
Bantams, bro.
Stolen base guy in history, used to wear, and he used to wiggle them at first base.
he was
to
cool.
taunt the pitcher.
Yeah.
But real quick,
Yeah, just
on
hold
a-
the gloves in your hands if you're worried. Keep it real. Sliding mitts. I blame
No, 'cause
the
then you
Major
can't
League
reach the
players
bases
for the
quick.
kids
That makes
wanting
no
them
sense.
at Dick's.
That makes no sense.
Wait. So the question is it a violation
He said
to
it
wear
is.
a
He said it
sliding
is.
mitt
If
in a
my
league
kid
where you
wanted
can't
to wear-
slide
That's a
head first?
violation.
If my
Okay.
kid wanted to
Cameron.
wear a sliding mitt, I would make him wear an oven mitt.
I say,
Ooh, there you go. I like that.
look good, feel good,
I like
play
that.
good.
You want safety here? Wear an oven mitt.
Gentlemen, let me say something that's related to that. So my son is also an avid surfer, right? And we surf down the Jersey Shore. He found one of in the winter, you wear gloves,
to keep
but
your
they
hands
keep
warm.
them like lobster mitts or whatever. So he found one of those and he brought it to the Little League game. And he literally wanted to go out and play with a wetsuit glove because it looked like an oven mitt. And I was like, yo, you cannot do that.
Wow, I gotta give that kid credit.
Yeah, hell yeah, indeed.
That's my kind of kid.
Hey, that's
One-
better
one
than
of
Dick's.
the one of the kids in a Little League World Series this year hit a home run wearing construction gloves.
Hell
Love
yeah.
that. Is like dad's construction gloves.
And by the way,
like
to
badass.
tie this off,
I like that. I like that.
Listen, to tie this topic off, I want to talk about how the Little League World Series is kind of death for parents of travel baseball kids, because the only reason my son watches the Little League World Series is to try to figure out what new $300 bat he wants to buy. He's like, oh, Dad, he's using the Cat X, the ADV. And I'm like, dude, just go hit
Cat
with
X.
the bat you have. You already have a bat. The Cat X. You know about the Cat X.
They
they just
Massimo
got
has
one for USA Baseball.
Right. And so even my wife got it engraved.
Every
The
kid has a
badge.
$300 bat on
Dude,
each
it's worth
team. Yeah,
$3.99.
crazy.
What are you
Wait,
talking
I
about?
saw something
300
online.
if you're lucky.
I saw something online. It was like somebody made a meme or something. It's like, we got $5,000 worth of bats in the dugout, and you guys have got one hit today. It's great. All right, enough about the kids.
Fuck
quick.
the kids.
Yeah.
She had the bat engraved, my wife, because his nickname's Mas. His name's Massimo.
great.
Weapons of mass destruction.
That's great.
Wait, can I
Look
say?
at this little bump.
But you almost have to hit a homer now. Like,
Listen, that's
how can you hit a single with
Exactly.
something that inscribed on that in your bat?
But
Like,
that's a brilliant move because it's a lot
I like
harder
that.
to move away from the bat that says weapons of mass destruction than the standard voodoo DeMarini that my kid has. It's just like everyone else's DeMarini. That's a good move.
Yeah,
I'm
what
gonna think
was
about
going
that.
on with Bryce's bat? Like I saw something about that. You're just going, all right, let's get
Well, the bone.
No, on
See the bone bat
Sunday
with the
you'll
number
like
2
this,
pencil?
Rock. On Sunday, some of the guys
Yeah.
had like
Bone had the number
homage
2
bats
pencil.
Yeah,
to
the Victus
little kids.
bats.
They had
Yeah.
crayons and pencils.
Yeah, it was like
and
a
stuff.
local thing, right?
Very
yeah.
cool.
Okay, all right.
Well,
very
it's
cool.
the
Sorry.
local bat company. They make. It's actually a great Philly story. We should have those guys on the podcast.
Yeah, it's a great
They
bat.
started a bat company, Victus.
Okay. Yeah.
Out in a little past or in Conchi or around that area, and they got like a couple guys testing their bats. And they
And
liked
Bryce is
and
one?
they started using them. Bryce Harper was one of the first when he was on Washington. And now like everyone in the league uses their bats, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But-
And Bryce bought bats for every kid on the
Right.
media.
Yeah, I
Little
saw
League
that.
team.
I think it was Castellanos,
Oh, yeah.
wasn't it?
Nick did, yes.
Yeah, and they said
That's
like
right,
rip
Meech.
that John or something on there.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get into the bat thing. I'm
Nah,
sorry,
you're
guys.
good. We started the bat
Too,
topic.
too
so-
late, dude.
Okay,
Too
but
far into the bat thing.
we did want to get a couple more violations, and recently there's a business establishment that has been rolled out in Philadelphia.
No
that-
bartender.
Oh, you fucking nailed it!
Stone violation.
Yo, it's called Tapster.
Yeah.
Right? Did you hear about
I know
this?
all about
Like
it.
Napster? No, but it's like, listen, I don't want to shit on anybody who has money that puts into a
Right.
business. I don't mean to shit on anybody,
especially
but
in
this-
Center City right now.
There's a bar that just opened up at 16th and Sansom, and it's called Tapster, and it has no bartenders. It's got it's got a few staffers. You have to go in there and scan a card like you're in fucking Dave and Buster's playing video games just to get a couple drinks. They have swings instead of seats. You can sit in a fucking swing, and it's labeled as a sports bar. Like, who is supposed to enjoy this?
Just the fact
who is this catered?
The fact
towards?
that Anthony
no one in
knew
Philly.
before we even said
Right
it.
off the
But
bat,
let me
dude.
say this, and Anthony, this might be a good time for you to think about buying in because
It's a soulless bar.
Yes, soulless.
I just had
There's,
an
there's
idea.
nothing to it. It's just taps and humans, and they're supposed to sit at the watch sports. I mean,
Meech, what if I told you they cut you off on your card after 2 drinks?
Well, here's the other thing they do. Not only do they cut you off after 2 drinks, but they charge you by the ounce, like you're a fucking
Sounds
gas
expensive.
station pumping gas into your
I
mouth.
talk about taking.
So-
you're right. The soul out
Yeah,
of
so it's
drinking, man.
It's like
Drinking.
after 16 ounces that you poured, you have to go to a staff member and recharge your drink because you had 2 beers and they cut
Okay.
you off.
Maybe they're
Now-
being
Oh,
responsible.
that's horrible.
Gentlemen,
Maybe they're
I have
responsible.
just come up with what I think is a brilliant idea. We will start a rival business. It will be like Dave and Buster's. You will get a card. There will be an arcade. You know when you go to Dave and Buster's and you accumulate points and you can get tickets? What we're going to do is you take that back and you can get alcohol. So the more tickets that you get, the more alcohol you can get. Who is with me?
I like
now
it.
is the
I
time.
like it.
Let's go.
See, I'd rather just
been
go
playing
to a
Mortal
regular
Kombat all night. I
bar
would've
where I can watch a
cashed up
game
those
and
tickets.
ask a bartender to bring me a fucking drink and not have her cut me off after 2 beers and have me recharge a
I'll
card.
meet you at Jimmy's.
Yeah, meet you at Jimmy's.
See, that's
Timeout.
what. See, to me, that's Philadelphia, right? So if I think about the bar, like the corner bar, so growing up, and in Northeast had a million of them,
A
right?
million of 'em.
right? South Philly,
We're
well,
Mount
every
Airy,
neighborhood,
uptown
West
kids.
Philly, North Philly, everybody had
likes it.
their own corner bar, and there, like I could still, I love
Shout out
going
Murphs.
in.
It's a great experience.
I love, and
You don't want it to be clean.
no. And you could smell. I can go into Malone's. We had a bar called Malone's Bar on 18th and Rittner. And I could walk in, I could smell that stale beer.
Yeah.
You could they had great sausage sandwiches.
Yeah.
The food. There was a pool table in the back room, and it was just you learned about
experience.
life. Yeah. I remember, and I had to be, I don't know, 17 years old. All my cousin and my older friends, everybody would be hanging, and I remember cursing, saying something, and Joe, the bartender, Joe goes. He smacked you, and he went, "Yo, dude, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Wise up.
There's women here.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Don't be disrespectful." He was, all right.
See, I had
and you learned about stuff like that.
I lived in the Northeast. The first bar I went to was called Squire Tavern. It's on Bustleton Avenue. Right
How old were
across
you
from-
again? 13?
No, I was probably about 16.
There you go.
Here's a funny story. There was a pizza. It was a whole shopping center, and there was a pizza place. And we used to order pizza from there when we were 16, and we used to say, "Yo, could you stop at the bar next door and grab us a 40 of Crazy Horse?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." So we used to order a small pizza and 6 40s of Crazy Horse. So they'd bring us a pizza, and we tipped the guy because we were all little kids, but we had the money.
That was a maneuver.
Yeah. So we had that locked up, and then
Yeah,
and
this
then
dude's got hustles
they
on top
eventually-
of hustles. His hustles
This is
got
hustle,
hustle.
man, dude.
They,
you don't
they
even
eventually
know.
they eventually caught on to us and stopped delivering. But anyway, the bar right there was called Squire Tavern. And the bartender's name was Harry, and he was also the neighborhood bookie. So there was a payphone at the bar. So he would just leave the bar 10 minutes before game time. On Sunday morning at 12 o'clock, he would be at the payphone taking bets for an hour, and everyone would be like, "Yo, Harry, can we get a fucking drink over here, man?" But that's the experience.
That was Philadelphia,
Yeah,
man.
that's the experience
They'd
need.
be behind the bar. And they would have the Daily News, right?
With the point spread,
Yeah, with all the
yeah.
lines, making the lines up. They would. It was the best.
Yep.
What do you got? The nickel or the
Yeah.
Eagles? You got Eagles +6. And they would mess with the lines.
hell yeah.
They would do whatever you want.
Now-
$25 reverse.
Those bookies back then would pass the bets off to another bookie
Yeah.
with a different line.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a middle. It was a whole network. It was great.
Yeah, it was
man.
the best.
The
There was
first time
something.
we ran into each other was at a dive bar in the Northeast at Casper's.
Yeah.
Didn't even know each other.
Yeah, it was after
Strangers
Casper's.
passing.
It was it was
Listen,
Paris.
You guys,
Paris
though,
pub.
hit on something that we haven't even talked about, which we have to before we get out of here, is the football season coming up.
Go Birds.
It's funny to me. I just feel like we're kind of almost taking it for granted. We don't even have to worry about it. Things are going to be great. And I can't think of too many things to be too concerned about. Now, Meech, I know you have some thoughts about how people might approach a season from the gambling perspective. Could we give maybe a couple tidbits on that to the
I can
the fine
absolutely
people?
do that. I have a few bets. Listen, I'm a obvious Eagles homer. I don't care much about the other preseason bets. I actually don't like making future bets.
Okay.
Because I don't like the money tangled up for 18 weeks.
Right.
I'd rather just bet it week by week.
Yeah, I've had some Embiid MVP future bets that went wrong.
But
in my time.
I was looking through FanDuel, and there's just some things that I couldn't pass up. Well, first of all, they have I don't know if what everyone's got, but they have a little special where if you bet a certain amount on the Super Bowl winner, you get money back. If I bet
it's $100, you get $10 per win.
like me, I got if I bet 200 on a team to win the Super Bowl, I get $20 back for each win during their season. So I'm going to put that on the Eagles. They're
That's
plus,
a good.
Yes.
I like that.
I never
so the
heard of
Eagles
it.
are plus 800. So I'm going to put 200 on them to win 1,600. And every win during their season, I get $20 in credit.
That'll
back.
cover you. That'll
So
cover
it'll
your
cover
game.
the
Yeah,
200.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
going to win at least 13.
So that's
Tough schedule.
That's my FanDuel. They have a little promo going.
That's
for
good
that.
knowledge for the people, I think.
Yeah, I think. I'm a degenerate, so it's probably a little bit less. Like Fink, I think yours is 100.
Yes.
A lot of people's is 50, and they get $5 back. But I'm a degenerate, so I get 200.
Right behind.
You mean your offer is not eligible for everyone?
Yeah, but an eligible offer for everyone. I just don't know what the stake is for everybody.
They knock it down
All right.
for how much you.
You got to gamble
But
more, people.
you put it
if you
on
want
the-
to get there.
Put it on the Eagles. All
Responsibly,
right,
please gamble
because you're
1-800
going to get the
gambler.
money back no matter what it is throughout the year, just based on their victories. I also put 50 on Jalen Hurts to win MVP.
Solid.
He was so close last year.
yeah.
If he didn't
What's
get
the
hurt,
payoff?
if he didn't get hurt those last 2 weeks, he would have been a shoo-in for MVP.
What's the return on that?
Plus 1,200.
Yeah.
So I put $50 to win 600 because anything can happen if
I
he
might
misses
tail
2
on that one.
games. But I'm a big Jalen Hurts believer, so I put 50 to win, 600 on Jalen to win MVP of the league.
Tailing.
I got one for you.
Let me hear it.
And this line, I just don't get it. Nick Sirianni to win Coach of the Year. Now, think about this for a second. This is a team that we all think will get to the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
Or at least a good chance,
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
Why not?
All right. He lost both his coordinators. If this team gets back to the Super Bowl,
That's a good point.
he should win Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
He's 33-1.
33 to 1.
33-1.
Hold
You
up.
want to talk about
up.
no respect?
33 to
Look it up.
1.
Yes.
That is no respect, but I have to tell you, Coach of the Year most of the time goes to some shit-ass team who overachieved.
But why didn't he get it
and
like Coach of the Year when he got-
lost in the first round of the playoffs?
Who got it last year?
You're
Who got it
right,
last
but
year?
Nick wasn't, if you remember, he wasn't one of the top
No,
three.
he wasn't.
Yeah, left
Yeah.
the top.
Who was it
I
last
remember
year?
Yeah, he
bitching
didn't
him
even get
about it.
invited to
'Cause
the-
I'm a big Sirianni guy. I
Yeah.
love Sirianni.
Oh, he's the man.
And I'm going,
a little
how
emotional.
in the world could he not get, and I'm thinking.
That's a great
dude,
that's a
what?
great bet to sprinkle on.
is
And
a
right,
good one.
and I go, well, maybe the case is you lose both coordinators and you get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, see, that's a good fact that helps the case.
Wait,
yeah.
who won Coach of the Year last year?
Yeah, does anyone know that off the top of their head? Fink?
I
Can you
do
get
know
on
this.
it?
It
Fink,
was,
you have one job.
I
in the-
guarantee it was a team
Anthony,
who
who
lost in the
votes
first
on
round
and
of
Coach
the
was it the
playoffs.
dude? Was it
You
Dabble?
know?
Was it
The
Dabble?
writers.
Dabble?
Was it
So
Dabble?
people who are thinking
Dable,
about
yeah.
stuff like
Dable,
that.
whatever his
Brian
name is.
Dable?
Yeah.
We gonna dabble?
Yes, it was.
Nice,
Yeah.
Fink. Thanks. You
Yeah.
have a computer there. Do
Yeah,
you
I-
use that, or is that just hand
I
sanitizer on there?
Look it up because
Yo, fuck the Giants, by
I
the way.
remember seeing 33
Yeah,
to
check
1.
out Sirianni.
Okay, Fink. Fink.
Yeah,
jeez.
real quick. Does anybody know? I was driving down 95 from New York last week, and there was like a fucking, like a trailer on the side of the road, and it was like New York Giants. It looked like an equipment trailer, like it fell off the back of a truck.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
No, we don't know about that.
If somebody,
Coach
if
of the
anybody
Year odds,
sees
does
this,
anyone
we
see
all
the
know about that.
trailer off the side of the road?
yo, I swear to God, if anybody,
If anyone sees the New York
this
Giants trailer
City
broken
Pigeons-
down on the side of the road, keep driving.
Yo,
Don't help
real
was
them.
it an
quick.
official Giants trailer? Because
Okay.
it was like a piece of fucking Giants junk on the
Let-
side
let
of the
me-
road.
Let me finish.
Yeah,
I got
finish.
3
Can
more
you?
real
Sorry,
quick.
Real quick.
Sorry.
Burn through them real quick. I am a huge Devontae Smith fan this year.
Yep.
I think he's
Got
gonna,
the jersey.
He's going to get the secondary cornerback, and he's just going to burn them every goddamn game. Now, last year, Devontae Smith had 1,196 yards and 7 touchdowns, right? As a second-year receiver. This is the third year where historically third-year receivers go off. Like third year
I know.
is the year the receiver just
Yep.
takes over. So Devontae Smith to get 1,250 receiving yards, which is
That's a
only
lot.
54 more than he had last year, is plus 380. So I put 200 on that to win 760. Plus
Guy's a
380.
genius.
It's just FanDuel. Plus 380 for 1,250 receiving yards. The only way he doesn't get this is if he gets injured during the year. That's the only way.
People,
But he's not
pay
going to because
attention.
he's a goddamn toothpick. He knows how to maneuver his way.
Unless he gets
He's
destroyed.
a savant.
I don't know.
Devontae Smith's a goddamn savant.
I think that's a
And
bad
then,
bet.
On the other hand, I got 10 plus receiving touchdowns. Last year he had 7.
that's
He's
a
going to
lot.
step it
That's
up.
husky.
That's plus 440. I put 100 on that to win 440.
I like that better.
How much are you in on the Eagles season?
Yeah,
at
dude.
this time?
$500.
I love it. I love
$500.
it.
They're the
No,
best team in the
no.
league.
I think
You're the
Swift.
gen-
I think Swift's going to
And
pick
I'm
into a lot of
guaranteed to
those
get 200
receiving.
back from
Okay.
the Eagles wins, so I'm not worried
Anthony,
about it.
if there's one thing you learned tonight, we already knew this. Meech is the genuine article. He's the genuine freaking article. From the bookies and the 40 ordering in the Northeast to the FanDuel bets of the year.
Tune in,
Here's
tune
my
in
only-
mid-January when we recap these bets and see how we
we
did.
need to.
Here's my,
come
here's
back
my
for
only
that.
here's my only non-Eagles bet of the year. I'm probably not even going to make this bet, but I'm just going to tell you right now, Jordan Love under 21 and a half passing touchdowns is a lock. He sucks.
Wow.
And
He
you
went
know
rogue
what?
on that one.
The Green Bay Packers.
Shots fired at Jordan
Random.
Love. Who the hell knows anything about Jordan Love? I certainly
I
don't.
do. Because the Green Bay Packers have got so lucky. They had Brett Favre forever. They drafted Aaron Rodgers to be a successor. They let Favre go. He came in, and he was the man. And he was the man forever. And then they draft Jordan Love and try to. It's not going to happen twice.
You're saying under
They've got
21
Randall
and a half?
Cobb and Jordy
under
Nelson
21
catching
and a half
passes.
passing
For the
touchdowns
season.
for the
Hold
season.
on, let's
Jordy
see what
Nelson
it
is
says.
I bet he has
I'll
like 10.
They have a great receiver.
Can we
though.
check in with
They
the
got some
bonafide-
good young. They
got
have some
great
good young
receivers.
receivers.
Yeah, dude.
Dobbs is the kid.
What's the
They
light-skinned
spells it
kid?
Doubs.
Yeah.
He's really good.
What's the light-skinned kid?
Trust me.
I'm not going to place this bet, but I'm just telling you.
Because actually, if you remember him, he came in at the end of last year. He actually looked pretty good.
What's the running back's name? He'll
Which
catch
one?
the
You have
ball.
two of 'em.
The
Sorry,
33.
Aaron
He
Jones.
catches the ball, dude. That's a bad bet.
All right.
We're out
Well,
on that.
Mark, can you make sure that Danielle listens to the whole podcast? Because she's going to want these bets.
This is her favorite episode.
Yeah, I know she always does. Mark's wife is a huge gambler.
I'm big
That's
on
awesome.
I'm big
It's
on
great. She's
Devontae this
fantastic.
year.
Dude, an NFL
Although
quarterback in 17 games
AJ
can
Brown's
fall
going
in
to
a 21
smash
quarterback.
Devontae's
Yeah,
numbers.
I
he's
agree,
he's
bro.
AJ Brown's out of
incredible,
control.
but his odds aren't as tasty.
I love your Devontae. I do. I
Yeah.
like your Devontae. I think Devontae's legit. And he's such a great route runner.
He's
the man.
nasty.
If you-
His
I mean,
footwork
yeah.
is like phenomenal.
No, I love you. I love everything except the love,
Love.
thing.
Yeah, it's all
I
right.
think Swift's going to steal a lot of catches.
I don't
from
care.
Devontae.
I mean,
No,
by
I
the
don't-
way, is 22nd on the list, and he's 35-1 right now.
That's
Come
it.
on,
I'm in. I'm in on
Let's
that.
go, cuz.
I'm in on that.
It's ridiculous.
I'm going to
go.
take my Jordan Love money and put it on Sirianni.
Do
There
it.
you go.
That's
How's
it,
that?
me.
Okay.
That Jordan Love
Now-
is
He's the
bad.
22nd ranked.
No, that's a
coach.
violation.
He's tied with Jonathan Gannon.
What a joke.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's hate.
They ain't even going
I'm
to make
just
the
reporting
playoff.
odds.
Come
I'm just
on.
reporting the odds
So,
here.
Cuz that's a good bet. Thanks for that.
last thing that I want us to get into, because everybody's super fired up for the Eagles, the Kelly Green jersey situation was a tidal wave. And, the truth is, I don't know what it takes for them to get this kind of stuff approved. But for years, it's just like, do you not want the money? Do you not want the money?
I know.
Like, what do you got to do?
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think Jeffrey Lurie was against it because he came in
right,
with
the Midnight Green is his thing. But either way,
But
do you not want the money?
He turned out to be a genius because the more you make them wait, the thirstier they get. They
You're
were
right.
And there was a
salivating for
rule,
these.
because I remember asking him, because
Right.
remember.
Yeah, you
can only
could
do
only
so
have
much.
so,
Right.
and you had to do it
to
so
wait.
long in
Yes,
advance. Yeah.
that's true.
But it was just like, every person's going to get a New Jersey, which we all did. And most people have been in support of that. You would think, right? It's an era that we all are very nostalgic about. But
They're gorgeous,
there's one
man. They're
person
fantastic.
who may not be as on board. So I want to head over.
Wait, look at me.
I want to head over.
I'm thinking, there's no way Fink.
It's not Fink.
Because I would think Fink
No.
would love that.
You know who it is?
Hey,
It's-
you got one?
No,
you got
hold on,
one?
hold on.
You have one?
I do.
What do you got?
Well, I have. It's not a jersey. It's an Eagles. It's like a hoodie, like a little.
Gotcha,
like,
gotcha.
That
Like long
works.
sleeve, like
That works.
it's like a tee
All right.
hoodie, but it's Kelly Green. That's
So-
the first thing I got. Mitchell Ness.
This is somebody who actually in this episode alone has proved the depth of their sports knowledge, and they're an intellectual. So
Well, he's
we're
a
going to have to
baseball
give
guy,
them the floor here. We're going to head over to the Goodheart bar and talk to one Mark Goodheart, who, by the way, Goodheart Firm, a wonderful, the original sponsor of the City Pigeons Podcast. If you should need personal injury representation of any kind, Mark Goodheart is your guy. He's going to
He
get it
went
done.
from a sponsor to part of the City Pigeons.
Well, that's what he does because he's very entrepreneurial, and
Look
that's
at
the
this
way
guy.
he'll handle your
How
case.
could he not? Look at him.
That's the way he'll handle
Look
your
at
case.
him.
Mark, that is a party.
Yeah, until we hear this bad Kelly Green.
All right, so let's hear this, Mark.
Yeah, let's see.
The floor is yours, Mr. Goodheart.
Of course, I have a couple things first, but I will get to the Kelly Green. What they were saying, Anthony, is once you come here, you don't leave. So just be prepared. At the Goodheart Firm,
Now you
we
can't
do
leave.
have we
True.
do have a good time, but we do take our cases seriously. We take our clients seriously. I call it compassionate care for my clients. We also, I have a saying, attention to detail, and also what I really say is words matter. Every word matters. Words matter in life. So I just want to get back and rewind a bit in our episode and correct one Rock Matthews.
Oh.
Because words matter.
They do.
The first World Series rings went in 1919, just so you know.
World Series.
World Series rings to the Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
Okay. The first, because you're saying
like-
everybody get NLCS.
Was
the
that
first
Tony
league
Reale used to
championship
correct
ring
everybody on?
to the 1947 Brooklyn Dodgers. Jackie Robinson was on that team, and Pee Wee Reese. So the
Rocky, you don't
league
wanna mess with
championship
that.
rings in baseball have actually been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I just want to pay attention to those details.
It's not a fad.
I'm not going to say nothing about it.
Okay.
Let's not give Rock the floor. Mark, keep going.
Keep going.
But-
keep going. I'll say my piece.
So, but I do want to get back to this Kelly Green. The Kelly Green uniforms in and of themselves in 2023 being released by the Eagles is a violation.
What? Wow.
And here's why, okay? Number one, okay, it is celebrating like one of the worst eras in Eagles football. Now, I love Buddy Ryan. I love that defense. Don't worry, I love those teams, but we won a Super Bowl in Midnight Green. Buddy Ryan was an amazing character. He was an amazing defensive coach. But talk about celebrating mediocrity. He never won a playoff game. That would not fly today. Give
got a
me a
point there.
break, okay?
Okay.
And you could always get Kelly Green gear. You could get your sweatshirt. You could get your Jerome Brown jersey. This was a complete money grab, okay?
Absolutely.
You could always get Kelly Green. I have a Kelly Green Eagles t-shirt.
He's kind
You know, Jesse, that I like my gear. I like my sports
Do you
gear. I
have
like
a Kelly
my jerseys.
Green Hawaiian shirt?
I walked in today to the Phillies game, and I walk into the suite level, which I'm not in very often, and the first thing the usher said was, just so you know, everyone, with your suite ticket, you get 25% off in the team store. Well, you know where I went on the way out,
And
and
did
I
you get
dropped a
that?
few dollars.
Yeah,
So
baby.
I appreciate my gear.
Yeah, you
but
do.
I did not buy a Kelly Green jersey. And I am a
Take
sucker
a
for
stand.
buying
Boom.
jerseys. So that is
And
my
this is
opinion.
the kind of guy-
It is a violation. The way it was rolled out.
Counselor.
The Eagles, the championship, world champion
I
Eagles,
object.
wear midnight green.
We're in the fucking
Counselor,
court.
let me just
And I'm
answer
not
this.
saying it's not a cool color, but we are champions
Two
in
things.
midnight green.
Here's the
We're in the
counter
court.
argument.
And we're only wearing it twice this year.
Okay,
Come
well,
on.
but here's the thing. You would have a better case if they switched from midnight green to entirely Kelly Green.
Right.
But they all have altered jerseys all the time.
Sustained.
It's just two weeks of the year.
It's 2 games.
Two
so
games.
all it is truthfully an homage to what truthfully is
Homage.
Eagle Green. The true Eagle Green
is a
Kelly
beautiful
Green.
color.
And by the way, like Rob
Beautiful.
says, Kelly Green is a better green.
Way better than that midnight
You
green.
would have your
sucks.
case if they switched from midnight green all the way, but they didn't.
They didn't.
It's just 2
Homage.
times.
It's just an homage.
See, I would actually rather if they just went Kelly Green because I don't disagree that Kelly Green isn't dope. I'm opposed to the 2 weeks. I'm opposed to rolling out as just like a money grab. Be who you are.
See, everybody
We are
loves,
midnight
everybody
green.
loves
wait.
the black jerseys. I would say that's more of a violation.
I don't own a
Hell
black
yeah.
jersey.
Because
Yo, wait.
the black jersey
Trash.
It's not
not that good,
green.
dude.
I mean,
Right.
everybody does a black jersey.
You know who else is
like the black.
I
like it.
The random like the blue ones, the baby blue with the yellow. Those were trash too.
Oh,
But
that was horrible. Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, my
terrible.
son was like, "What, Daddy? What was
So
that?"
the last time they
that was
rocked
terrible.
the Kelly Green was what? Like when Deshaun and Vic
was
and them
Vic
were
and-
around. Right.
Yeah.
We haven't had that since then.
But even that was the older one. It had no outlines on. It was
Yeah,
like
it was like raw.
it was
shit.
like the
It was
original-
yeah, these ones that we have now, it's bringing back some old nostalgia when you were a kid growing up. You feel good about it. Like Randall was running around with the gold shoe tip laces. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Ann said, they're wearing it 2 games out of the year. They're not going
good
to
vibe.
straight Kelly Green. They're going to bring it out on 2 nights out of the year against the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins. Big games. They're going to win them. Gets the crowd
There you go.
hype. It
Let's
gets them
go.
in. It's
And
a
it
money.
was-
It
it
is a
was
little bit of a money
like-
grab by the team, but it's also a good thing for the fans to just like
It was
get more
my
involved, dude.
first memory as an Eagles fan was in those jerseys.
Yeah,
so
dude,
it's
this is
like nostalgic to me.
So listen, Counselor, I have another question for you. What is your stance on the Phillies powder blue?
trash.
I love the powder blue.
The powder blue equals
It's
the
not
Kelly
adding
Green.
up. It's not adding up, is it? No.
And if you like the fat P, that's the same thing as the Kelly Green.
I love the powder blue.
That's the
I love
Goodheart
the
firm
powder
over
blue.
there. The Goodheart law firm.
Sorry, you lost.
The Goodheart.
Anthony, good point. Good point.
Dude, it's nostalgia.
All right.
We're,
There you go,
we're all
counselor.
in this room. We're all over 24 years old.
He doesn't
whatever.
know how old Fink is. He
I
doesn't
had
know
no
how old
idea.
Fink is.
Dude, the Kelly Green just brings back so much nostalgia, man. It's like it feels good. You want to wear it. You want to throw it on. Like I got that.
I
Hearst
agree.
jersey. It feels
but
great.
I look at I love the Kelly Green. That is what I grew up with. And
looks
I always
better.
felt like
let you down.
for all these years people wanted the Kelly Green because we weren't that good and we had no
Gives a shit
Super
about
Bowl, and
that.
it was
It
like,
just
oh, we
looks
need
cool.
to bring
Gives a
back
shit
the
about
cool
that.
uniforms.
still
The
playing.
one
thing
we
they
won the
should've did-
Super Bowl.
I'll
Like
tell you what.
it feels like this was a thing people talked about because there was nothing else to talk about for all those
There
years.
was
Bring
plenty.
back Kelly
So what
Green.
About, what about the
and
Sixers,
now we won the Super Bowl.
What about the Sixers black shirts and the 01 era that everyone wants back?
Trash. I hated those jerseys.
I'd bring back like the
'Cause
original
Sixers are
Doc
winning- the
uniforms.
Sixers are
Gentlemen,
winning
gentlemen.
now.
I'd bring back the Doc
Track
uniforms.
Hey,
like
order in the
People
court.
love it.
Order in the court.
Order in the court. Okay.
I'll tell you what the Eagles should have did.
No.
Brought back
Order in
the
the court.
white,
No.
the white
Don't
with the
tell
Kelly
us.
Green, with the
Don't
gray pants.
tell us what
Hell
the
yeah.
Eagles should have done.
Sorry.
Guys, here's the deal. We know we could go on until the early
We haven't gotten
hours
into the
of the
hustle.
morning.
We haven't gotten into anything,
Roger,
dude.
please.
I know.
Hold on.
Let Ant
Okay,
go home,
listen.
dude. Let Ant go home.
Here's the deal. I think the only thing
All right, sorry, Jess.
the only thing we can do is say that we're just going to have to take an intermission, and at some point we'll have a part 2 where Anthony's going to come back to the coop. You know,
I'm in.
Maybe once the Eagles season gets a little bit
Anthony
going.
and Charlie Manuel.
If you can, you and Charlie Manuel come back to the coop, maybe during the Phillies World Series run, because we all know that's going to happen.
During a playoff game, we'll watch it here.
the night they're wearing powder blue.
But seriously, hey, Anthony, we love you, man.
Oh,
you're one of
it was
us.
awesome.
It's
Goddamn
great.
legend, Ant.
We
Thank you
got
very
you.
much.
We look forward to hanging with you again. You're welcome in the coop anytime. And listen, we hope you guys enjoy this episode. Please do like, subscribe, all that crap. Follow us and pay attention to what we're doing. We're going to have a lot of great stuff coming up for the football season, a lot of tailgates, working with a lot of great partners. It's going to be fun. We're going to try to create some really cool events, some good content for you guys. So stay in touch with us, and let's have some fun. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Let's
Go
go.
Phils. Go all that.